Hello guys, welcome to the Super Chat from Superanimestore. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm Carlos here.
Our other host, and today we're going to be interviewing KooK0w0.
Hello.
And KooK0w0, who do you have with you today?
This is my boyfriend, Matthew.
Everybody say hi to Matthew.
Hello.
Everyone be nice in the comments, please. So KooK0w0, we brought you in today because you are one of our biggest supporters
Yes.
and one of the biggest collectors we know. How did you get into this?
So, Japanese culture has always been a big part of who I am and my family because we have a Japanese background.
Mhm.
So, I usually say that I'm just Thai because it's what I mainly am. But my dad is Chinese and Japanese, my mom is Thai. So, growing up, you know, like everyone had their Western cartoons, like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon.
Right.
Mine was all like anime. Anime was like my normal cartoons, so I never really thought of it as like anything cool. To me, it was just something that I always watched, like Sailor Moon, Pokemon is what I really began with. And then after that, I just kind of fell down like, you know, the hole of anime.
Watching it. Did your parents put you on anime?
They did. So
they
my dad,
put the
my
TV
dad
on.
was the biggest fan and still is a huge fan of Pokemon. He loves Pokemon. He had like all like the old gaming systems. He has like all the retro Pokemon games.
So he was
And
playing
he's
it.
what got me hooked into becoming like someone who avidly plays video games and collects figures. Like he literally plays Genshin Impact.
Oh wow.
proxy.
Like he's like that's just like who he is. So he's the one who got me into it. My sister really never got into it like I did. But like even though my relationship with my parents wasn't like super close, I still like really caught onto that part of my relationship with my family.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what really kept me and my dad really close, even from like then to now, is our love for cartoons, our love for like collecting, because he doesn't collect figures, but he does collect comics.
So is that who you got your collecting niche from? Was your
I feel
father?
like it is. My sister and
Yeah.
my mom, they don't understand it.
So they go ahead.
You always have to have a collector's mindset in order to like,
Exactly.
start doing everything that you want to do.
Like my dad, like, you know, he's not against the figures. He just tells me to always be a little bit more responsible with my money with it because he understands that like it's expensive because he collects comics. He's been through collecting. He understands like, you know,
Right.
if there's a limited edition exclusive thing coming out, he wants it. But sometimes you just have to sacrifice saying you can't get it. So the only thing is that I'm trying to be a little bit more careful now with it because when I first got into it, oh my god, I would spend so much money on figures.
What
my
was
God.
your way of earning money to?
So
Okay.
I started working like middle school. That was when I started like really accruing money.
Wow.
And then in high school, I started working multiple jobs at a time to help with my family and their finances. Because I grew up like, you know, a little bit on the lower income side. So I really had to like help my family build that income up and the foundation up to
Right.
have the money that we have now. I just kind of like realized that, okay, if this is something that I want to do, it's something that I have to earn. I can't just take a figure.
Oh wow, so you learned that early
Yeah.
on. Oh wow.
Because my dad
okay.
kind of taught me the collector's mindset for that too. Where it's
I
like,
see.
okay, like if you want something, you have to earn it. You have to buy it yourself with the money. So I started working from an earlier age because I also grew up in a restaurant as a kid. So I was always around like a work environment. So I started working in middle school, started working in high school. And then throughout high school, when it hit like 2017, I was 17 years old and that was when I discovered what figures are. At first, I always kind of knew what they were like a little bit. I
little
didn't
bit,
really
right,
100%
you've seen
know
them,
what they
yeah.
were. But then my cousin was like, "Oh, there's this thing I just discovered called Nendoroids," and I'm like, "What are those?"
Oh.
And I always thought they were so insanely expensive. I'm like, $80 is so expensive because I was used to collecting pop figures when I started in
Oh,
2017.
okay.
I started with pop figures in 2017, and then eventually I started getting Nendoroids. Those things are so annoying to pose.
It's like worth the price of like 5 pops.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly,
But there's
yeah.
just, I don't know, like even now, I just have such a big love for them because I love how they're like little chibi characters and you can
like,
pose them. Like,
like
yeah.
little chibis.
So I really got into it with pop figures and Nendoroids. Now it's not really those anymore. I don't even collect pop figures anymore.
Right. Like as we saw from your Instagram, it's
Yeah.
Nendoroids, like I
yeah.
only really buy them now if it's a character that I really, really, really like. It's not really just like, oh, the first Nendoroid I see. Like, it really depends on the character. It depends on how it looks.
Mhm.
for me because I am a lot pickier now that I've accrued more of like a taste for figures.
Right, you have
But
more
back
finer
then,
taste.
I used to
Yeah.
just kind of buy anything I saw that I liked immediately. But I
Ching.
feel exactly,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
was why
yeah.
it was really bad for my money. And my dad was like telling me to be more careful because like it got to a point where every time I would get a paycheck, I would immediately go to like an FYE, a Barnes and Noble, anywhere like Tate's,
Right.
even,
Here.
to just
Us. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I remember when I bought my first figure. It was like it took me. I worked here for 3 years and a half. Never bought anything, and
Really?
like I can attest to that.
This was recently.
Like
Yeah, this was
I started
recently,
I
right?
started
Yeah.
buying stuff last year. My first figure was like Inuyasha
Yeah, you told me about
of
that.
Shishomaru and like Inuyasha together. I got it from the West Palm Beach locations. Like, dude, once you get into it, you can't stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't stop,
Because like
yeah.
at first like you don't really understand it, and then once you collect one, you're like, oh, this is really nice. It just grows into an addiction.
That's how my job started here. Actually, I was at GameStop. I was like, oh, this is a cool Dragon Ball Z figure. And then my friend showed me this store when we were set up here, and I was just like, oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna spend money here now. I'm gonna come here, nowhere else.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was the first time I met him.
yeah, I was shopping. I used to come here and just shop and just say what's up to Carlos.
Like think
Yeah.
about being the only employee that worked here like from the beginning. I started here working here like in 2018. So you gotta think about it in
Right.
like 3 years.
I think that's when this store actually started to
It's
blow
crazy
up.
to
Yeah.
think that you guys like opened kind of like recently in the years
In the grand scheme of
2018.
Now,
Yeah,
now-
how big,
Now we
yeah.
have 4 stores.
Now we have
I
4
don't know, like,
stores,
That's
right?
insane.
And then when you guys have come in, it's just
What
you
was
like.
that?
I know, isn't that crazy? And it's like I remember you guys coming in, and then I remember like helping you take your figures to the car, and just seeing like all the other boxes
Oh my God.
in the car as
It's a
well.
legion of boxes.
It's
I don't even remember the first time. I remember like because like when was it? I was already dating you. So we started dating 2018, and then I was like trying to really get into figure collecting. So I started kind of looking for like different anime stores, and yours was the first one to pop up on Google.
We're the only.
It was literally
Only
the
one.
only one.
Yeah,
the
the
other
only
ones were
one.
like really far away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not driving that distance. 30 minutes is worth it to me. So I drove here the first time with you. I think that was when you weren't working there yet. It was just Carlos.
Yeah, it was just Carlos.
Yeah,
back
It was
then,
just
yeah.
Carlos. I remember I walked in and I was just like, that was when you guys were like really small.
It was this building.
So I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, this is so cramped. But then when I saw everything, I was like, oh my god, there's so many.
Yeah, especially so when you started here, did you realize like, okay, I'm gonna collect authentic stuff? Because I know some places, like especially online, you'll get gypped. You know, like
Yeah.
they'll show like a figure for like $300, but in reality it's like an $800 figure, and they're selling you the fake one.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
Wasn't there one you saw recently that was like someone was selling it for like 75, but its market value was actually like
Like 700. Yeah.
what-
I was very lucky to start off with never collecting a bootleg. I've never owned a bootleg in my collection, and
Nice.
I will always stand by that. Well, I will never collect a bootleg. Like I said, I can't stop from someone else doing it, but for me, I would never do it just because the plastic might be harmful because we don't know what chemicals is in it. And
Mhm.
for me, I
Yeah.
feel like it is considered art theft because artists do draw these figures before it gets sculpted into a buyable figure.
And the sculptor's work as
And the
well.
sculptor's work.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be like kind of surrounded by the knowledge of it because when I first started collecting, that was when kind of anime becoming. I can't speak English. I'm sorry.
You're
That was
good,
when
you're good.
anime started becoming a really big thing.
Oh, Demon
And-
Slayer movie.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
all
yeah. I
that.
love
And
that
then,
movie.
so I started watching collector reviews and all that on YouTube, and they have so much information. Like, they educated me on, like, everything I need to know on, like, you know, the different scales, the different price ranges. I didn't even know what retail and aftermarket meant. I was just kind of like, oh, isn't there just one price? No, there's a pre-order price, there's a retail price, and there's an aftermarket price.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that scalpers were a thing either. And I'm just like, there is so much. Like, for one plastic figure,
There's
so
that
much
goes
like
into it, yeah.
background to it, and I never knew that.
Has that opened up your enjoyment and love for it even more?
Yeah,
Learning all
it
this other
really
stuff?
has. Because at first I was just like, oh, it's just a plastic thing that's like made to sell. But then I realized I'm like, no, there's like, you know, there's a team behind it. There's someone making the artwork for it, and then it gets curated by a sculptor into an actual figure, and then it gets manufactured. And I'm just like, that's so cool, you know? Like, there's actual people creating these for people like me who have an addiction for it, and I appreciate
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also gotta think about the shape and the dimension of the figure.
Exactly. Oh my god, like when I find a figure that has such a good like sculpt to it, it's insane. Like the amount of detail in every figure, especially scale figures.
Yeah.
Like for me, I either go for like super extravagant figures or I go for like a really simple bunny figure.
Yeah.
But there's some out there, like I forgot what it's called, but there's an Asuka figure where she's in kind of like streetwear. She has like a jacket.
Like the tech wear type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like to some people that might look really simple, but I'm like, dude, the sculpting on the wrinkles of the clothing and to make it look like she's wearing clothes from PVC, like that takes time.
I mean, Hatsune Miku, she's big, like, and famous, super big. Like, we have her right there, up here. They put in a lot of work, and especially some of the, like 1/7, like 1/4 ones that you have.
And
You
her
just gotta
hair.
think about the whole entire aspect of Hatsune Miku, because she has you have concerts, you have virtual reality going into it. And it's thinking, dude, is she a real girl? Or she's
It's so insane that like a holographic being can become such a huge thing in like anime culture.
Yeah.
But like I can understand because I feel like since her design is so classic and simple, you can do so much with it when you want to branch off to different styles and different designs. Because my collection, when I started with like Nendoroids and I started collecting actual figures, I started with prize figures after Nendoroids.
Right, okay.
And I was collecting literally only Hatsune Miku prize figures.
I remember you would come in when we were in here and we had like the small little aisles. You would grab Hatsune Miku first, or something like that, or like when we'd post something on Instagram, you'd be like, hold, you'd message us or call the store, you'd be like, put it on hold.
You're
put it on hold.
exposing me.
I remember the day that one day when KooK0w0 called me on the phone. I was like in here by myself. I was like wondering, Carlos, can you hold like 2 figures for me? It was like one Emilia figure from ReZero. It was like the big one that you got that one time. We share that we actually share that figure.
The one with real hair.
Yeah, the one.
The one with real hair, the bust.
And then, she called me, Carlos, can you also hold the bunny figure for me? I was like wondering, how many bunny figures do you have?
Oh, I don't even want to get into bunny figures.
There's many.
There's
a lot.
many.
So,
There are
like, okay,
shelves.
So,
Shelves.
with that, I started with Hatsune Miku figures. That was like my thing. Hatsune Miku prize figures. And then I discovered scale figures, and I was like, these look really good.
It hit you.
It hit. So then I bought
Yeah.
my first scale figure actually was a bunny figure. He gifted me a 1/4 bear-like bunny figure of Megumi from How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend.
I remember this. This is
yeah.
what you told me because you were looking for more of them from that anime. You came in asking for it. Yeah.
Because I recently started watching that anime, and then I saw that she had a bear-like bunny out, and I was like, oh my gosh, she has a bunny. That was my first scale. Like, most people's first scales are just like, 1/7 scales. No, I literally got introduced to scale figures with a 1/4 bunny figure.
Bunny scale, yeah.
And then I feel like ever since then, that was when I kind of started telling myself, like, okay, I can't just keep buying every figure in existence, because if I could, I would. But I really had to refine my collection, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't spending money on a figure that I just liked. I was wanting to make sure that I was spending money on a figure that I loved. And that was when my collection really started to becoming like what it is now, where it's mainly just bunnies.
Right,
Yeah.
which is now even more of a niche within the niche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so for scale figures, I only really buy them if I feel like they look really, really good. Like my favorite manufacturer for scale is Myethos. They're a Chinese manufacturer, but for a 1/8 or 1/7 scale for them, they retail for like $150 starting. And I feel like for a scale figure, that's fairly on like the more affordable side.
Price,
They
yeah.
are super detailed.
And they're super detailed and like have insane amount of like work put into them, like the paint job, the sculpting, and I'm just like, how is this under 200?
Yeah.
I don't think I've
It's
seen,
insane.
I don't think I've seen just like a basic base with them. It's always like some
No,
intricate
I mean there's
thing.
a line. I forgot what it's called, but it's from an illustrator.
Is it the
where-
one you bought from here?
No, that was a different. That's from a mobile game. There's one from an
okay,
illustrator where he basically draws like tech wear girls. Those are really simple,
those are cool.
but my ethos, like the way they sculpt their like clothing and everything, it's so cool.
She's got like a massive gun glaive thing.
Yeah, she has like a
Street
big
wear.
weapon
I
and she's
thought
in
it was.
tech
Have you
wear.
guys seen the one that does the Dragon Ball tech
Like-
wear? that artist. He's pretty cool on
No, I
Instagram.
haven't seen
I
that.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember when I was online a couple days ago. I was like looking up figures and stuff and everything. He saw me do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw this Pikachu figure that was dressed as Shishomaru from Inuyasha. It was like wondering.
That's so cute.
Dude.
And then we also saw the
Uh,
Sakuna Pikachu
yeah, it was
from
the
Jujutsu
Sakuna
Kaisen.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
This
Yeah.
Theruji K.
And then I remember
Yeah,
one of,
yeah.
I think was one of my customers like before this like we moved to the other store we were here.
Mm-hmm.
He bought the first ever Kakashi Pikachu in store. The only one that we ever had. I was like wondering, dude, was
You
he
had one?
We had a Pikachu dressed as Kakashi and
That's
Captain
so
America.
cute.
So it's like, dude, if that guy ever comes back, we're gonna have that in stock. It was like wondering.
That was.
And that mindset. You always gotta collect your figures and have fun with them.
So what is it like, Matt, living with all of
You
her
ask-
figures?
What is it like
Alright.
to be trapped in this?
So, here's the door. Here's the shelves.
Oh, so it just as soon as you
It's
enter.
The
shelves.
entire
It's
room at
just shelves
this
and
point.
shelves.
Because I remember before it was just your office.
No, so our office, actually, we don't have a separate office. We live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but we live with a roommate.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I don't want my figures being in a living room just because I'm not sure people are comfortable with that. So I really
Right,
keep
right,
it to
right.
just our bedroom.
Okay, so the door to your bedroom. Okay. Because I remember you showing me where your guys' desk are, and then where your figures were, and then you had like the one bookshelf of Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
And that was the last time, right? That was the last time ever. So I wanted to know the update from that.
Okay, so the
Yeah,
update
yeah.
from that. Okay, so there's a wall here. Our bed is right here, next
Yeah.
to the wall. And then the one shelf was over here on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
So
okay.
my Hatsune Miku prize shelf was on the opposite wall of our gaming setups. It started off with just like a small little shelf, and then eventually I kind of upgraded to a bookcase. And then that bookcase ran out of room,
So you
obviously. So then I kind of started using this cube shelf that we have as a TV stand on the wall in front of our bed. And they're like little cube shelves, so I started putting figures there. And then we had a bookshelf, it was like a manga shelf next to the TV stand. Eventually that just turned into figures too.
in front of the manga.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not even.
Oh,
I just
okay.
replaced the manga
Oh
with figures.
wow! You just took the manga.
No,
out.
at first it was figures in front of the manga, then you're like, okay,
Yeah,
you
but then I
just
realized I
pulled
ran out
the
of room.
manga.
And then eventually that shelf was too small, so then I upgraded that to a really tall bookshelf. So now that at the very bottom is where we keep the manga, and then all the
Okay,
other shelves are
okay.
figures. And then eventually I ran out of room on those shelves. We got wall shelves installed above our gaming setups. I
Just
have
the ones you post from your Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have the one shelf above my setup. He has the two, just because I feel like he should at least get two with how many figures.
That is my one like section of wall, and the rest is PVC.
Do you have any figures?
I
He
have
has a few
one
prize
or two.
figures, and he
Oh,
has. I
okay.
think you have like
One or
a.
two.
You have a Jotaro, right? Was it Jotaro? Or was it Joseph? He
Jotaro.
has one of the Jojo androids.
Oh,
too.
that's Joseph.
Oh.
Joseph, yeah, I think it's Joseph.
Yeah, that
So
was
then
cool, yeah.
he has the two shelves. He has like his Legos, his little mini collection on there.
That's your niche.
That's his
Legos.
niche. He
I'm-
loves Legos.
I'm also a Lego nerd. So
I have made a pact with my friends that I'm not allowed to buy any until August, so I can't.
Oh wow!
This
you
whole
guys-
summer has been
I
just
think,
like
I think
devoid.
the hardest Lego set I have ever built was a Millennium Falcon.
Wait,
That
the
has to be the
You
hardest.
the
had
UCS
that?
one?
I had that.
Do you still have it? Is
No,
it
I
still
don't.
cool?
Like my little like nephew freaking crushed it entirely.
Oh no! This turned so sad.
I want to give you my condolences.
That's a war crime.
Millennium Falcon.
That is so
But
sad.
it's not that bad. But at least I got to rebuild it after. So that's
You
Well,
got
that's
to
true,
rebuild
that's
it though,
true, yeah.
right?
Oh,
It takes a while. It takes like 2 hours.
did
to
you
rebuild
lose
it.
any pieces or you had everything?
No, I had everything. Thank God.
Oh.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
it was carpet.
Which
So-
version did you have? Which Falcon?
Like the original, like Millennium Falcon.
Really?
Actually, it comes with a huge giant box.
Do you still have it built?
I wish.
Oh no!
I had to take it apart because we had to like refurbish the room and everything. So we had to like remove everything and put everything on the walls.
Oh man.
But I'm gonna try and try to build it again, put it on my wall. Like, okay, you see like the hanging form, like you do it like airplanes. I'm gonna try and do that.
Won't you have
with
to
Legos.
glue that though?
Yeah,
Or-
you do have to glue it, but it's not that bad.
It looks cool though.
That's true.
I think it's worth it.
It'll
I
keep
would
it
say
from
it's
breaking
worth it.
apart.
Yeah.
Like think about being in a movie, right? You look like you see the Millennium Falcon coming at you, but in your room set.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that'd be so
That's
cool.
very cool.
I wanna
I saw someone where like someone put lights on the back of it, so it looked, and like
Oh,
put like the
oh, yeah.
trans
Oh,
clear
lights.
bricks,
That's
so it looks
pretty
like it's like flying off.
Oh yeah.
He wants to do that, but we don't have the room.
Whoa.
But we are hoping to expand because eventually our roommate is gonna move out, so we're gonna move our office into his room and just make that like a figure in office room
That-
and
yeah.
with his Legos, and then our bedroom will just be a bedroom. So I have the one shelf above my setup. That was where I moved all my bunnies. So my bunny collection was just a one, like kind of like this. It was one floating
Oh,
shelf.
okay.
And then eventually that ran out of room. So then I got another bookcase next to my setup. And now I'm still running out of room.
Okay.
I have like 5 bookcases in the room, and I still have to reorganize all the time just to fit the new pre-orders I have coming in.
Right.
You know those folding tables that like you fold out, put down, like if you're like in the living room and you want to eat like dinner.
Or
or something,
yeah,
fold it out.
yeah.
That has bunnies in it, and it's like right behind
So-
my desk.
It used to be a temporary thing, but then eventually I ran out of room, so I started putting figures on there, so now it's just there permanently.
Oh, the
like-
little microwave dinner table thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
TV
so
dinner. TV
I just like
dinner, yeah.
walk by and it's like all right, what's up,
There
Rito?
should-
So, these figures are all based on animes or Japanese,
For the most part.
anything, TV shows, whatever. So, with what you got into anime with your family and your dad, like Pokemon and stuff like that, what has been pulling you more and more to watch like anime? Like, what's your genre? What brings you back to anime?
So for me, the main thing with anime now is that it has like a really deep-rooted connection for me, because eventually, like after I grew up with anime, when I got to high school, I started wanting to become more like, I guess you could say American, because I used to get bullied for it.
Yeah.
And it was like a huge thing where people would make fun of me watching anime, they would make fun of me being Asian. So I just really wanted to like kind of Americanize myself. So I stopped watching anime, I stopped reading manga, and I stopped associating myself with it. After leaving high school, like that was like in 2017 when I started doing collecting, that was when I was like, you know what, I should not be ashamed of something that is
You
my
like.
literal
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
This is like a part of who I am. This is a part of my culture. I shouldn't feel like I'm ashamed of it just because the majority of people may not like it. So then I kind of started getting back into it, and I feel like now more than ever I'm like very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of like where I
Wow.
come from and my
Yeah.
culture, and because of me being able to take more pride in that, I've started becoming way more involved in watching more anime and reading more manga, because I'm like, this is a big part of who I am, and this was always a big part of who I was, and I don't want to lose that sense of myself again. So for me, watching these like silly little cartoons from Japan, that some people would say that, is a part of, I feel like, my identity at this point. It's a part of, I feel like, of what makes me me. It makes me happy. It brings me so much joy to even just see like a really well animated fight scene on the screen.
Oh yeah.
You know, like when I see like the animation, I'm just like, wow, like like this is so incredibly well done. Like someone took so much time to draw these frames, animate these frames, and then put it out for people to enjoy. And like I really appreciate the work that goes behind these animes. And it's just, I just feel like it's such a big thing now, especially now. Like it used to not be a thing, like a big thing. It used to be something that was like really niche.
Well,
I
think
am
it's-
very
yeah.
happy that anime culture is becoming more popular, because I feel like I can,
It's easier for
really-
people like us.
Exactly.
Everyone in this room
I can-
to express ourselves.
like it's so much
yeah.
easier for me to like walk into like a random store and someone be like, oh my god, I love your anime tattoo, and then
Yeah.
it ignites like a conversation. Back then, I would be ashamed to even talk about anime because people would make
That's
fun
true.
of me for it.
That's true.
Now, I can walk
People
anywhere.
get anime tattoos as covers for tattoos they had before. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I have, what is it? The Dragon Ball eye,
That's
so
cool.
I'm
yeah.
actually getting a Shenron tattooed on my leg.
Ooh.
Yeah.
With the 7 Dragon Balls swirling around. It's like thinking
That's
Are you gonna get there's gonna be color or black and white?
it's gonna be colored, like the original colors that Shenron has, which is green and yellow.
Really? Ooh.
I'm blank.
Well, I think if anyone listening or watching right now, like, definitely what KooK0w0 said, you should take that to heart. If you feel, oppressed by something you like, or, you know, you feel like you can't share it, just do it. Just
Oh,
be open with who you are. Find a group, find people. Come chat with us at the store. You know, come hang out. Go to cons. You'll meet a lot of people who share the same interests as you do, and you don't
Oh my
have
god,
to.
cons.
Yeah, always be yourself.
Yeah.
I love conventions.
Conventions are.
I have a story about conventions.
Go ahead.
So, okay. Fun fact, my figure account used to never even be a figure account. I started my KooK0w0 account as a joke, really. KooKs is what my sister always called me as a kid growing up. That was my nickname. And then I decided to go with KooK0w0 as a joke because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Now that I have, you know, this big amount of followers, it's no longer a joke. It's not my brand, so I kind of have to go with it. But I don't mind it because I feel like it was something that I started with, so I can probably be like, you know what, yeah, I'm KooK0w0. It sounds ridiculous,
So
but...
so KooK0w0, and then you look at your Instagram, the way it's spelled
Yeah.
is KooK0w0.
Yeah.
So, for my account, I started off as a cosplay account because that was when I started really getting into like going to conventions. My very first convention that I ever went to was SuperCon back in 2017.
A lot of
And-
people. So I heard it was like, for SuperCon specifically, it was like 2016, 2017, and I think. 'Cause I don't really know that many people went 2018, but then 2019, like it was super packed. It took like
I didn't go.
an hour. Like it took an hour to get in, to then wait for them to open.
Yeah.
And it took like
was
another hour, yeah.
insane.
That's actually
Yeah.
true. As a person who hasn't been to SuperCon since 2013,
You haven't been since 2013.
I haven't been because
Wow.
Because I don't want to go to like all the way to Miami.
Miami.
I
Because
like
it used to be in
It's far.
Fort Lauderdale.
It used to be in
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale.
yeah.
It used to be in BCC, which is pretty much a Bar Convention Center. But then they moved it down to Miami Airport. It was first at Miami Airport, then it went to BC, then now it's at Miami Beach.
And I think now there was a shift. I went to SuperCon recently. Did you guys go?
No. I don't really go anymore.
Genshin Impact.
It's too crowded.
Genshin
It's
Impact
just Genshin.
was the only like cosplay. Like usually at a con, when you look up, you'll see like the first things hit your eye. There's like 10 different cosplays, like 10 different shows, comics, whatever. Because conventions have like everything in it.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what's like popular at the time.
Right. But it wouldn't take over. Genshin Impact was like no hate towards Genshin Impact, but it was like
A lot.
all over.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like everywhere you looked, like if you looked up, like 7 out of the 10 people you saw were Genshin Impact.
Yeah, some of the people I saw, like, because I was watching videos from this year's SuperCon, I was like wondering,
Yeah.
like
every
I saw
single day.
people wearing Avatar costumes. I saw someone like doing Toph, the Earthbender,
Yeah.
and was it like I forgot the other one.
The water or the fire?
Yeah, it was water.
Water.
Katara?
Yeah, Katara.
Jinx.
And they were and they were like fighting each other like in the middle of the like ring, and it's like, dude.
Oh, the wrestling on
Oh.
SuperCon?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
see that the wrestling at SuperCon is really cool. I just
Like,
what
it's the
what
best.
what was different too about it is most of the time when you saw like cosplayers and stuff and everything. Like I remember 2019 SuperCon. Like if you guys ever played Diablo from Blizzard,
Yes.
Yeah.
someone did the most realistic. Like, you know, he was in the actual suit and you could hear him stomping, the mechanics of it. It would
That's
spray out all the lights, the paint job. He was Diablo. So it was sick. And you don't see that anymore because of when Demon Slayer blew up. I want to say it was 2020.
Yeah.
It was blow up like 2020, yeah.
2020, it blew up and then everyone was like, nothing else to do except watch anime. So people who, like, you know, some of us who had maybe like stopped watching anime were like, oh, I'll watch anime, and people getting into it, and there was just like this already with the people already watching it, like those 3 subsections just collided. And so when I went to SuperCon recently, you could just tell like all the first timers, like, you know what I mean? Like you could definitely tell the people who were not comfortable with just sitting on the floor in a corner.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
like if you want to sit down at a con, you just sit down.
You just sit.
Yeah, like no one
it doesn't
cares. Like
matter.
just sit there. You're like, yeah.
SuperCon's a
They
totally,
will
totally
avoid
chill spot.
Yeah,
They
they
will not
will.
run into
Yeah, exactly. And
No, like the first thing I did when I went to SuperCon, that's all I did was like sit down on the floor, running my own business. Because I bought my first Naruto headband. It's like
Really?
wondering, dude, what the heck? Dude, there's a lot of people. And I did karaoke that night. It was like
oh, at the SuperCon karaoke.
SuperCon karaoke.
Yeah.
It was like at the top floor. You take an elevator all the way up. It was like wondering, dude.
I never
What the
did
hell did I
that.
get into?
I didn't. I don't know, SuperCon was like a really big awakening because that was my very first convention I ever went to.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And then I didn't even know what like cosplay really was. I was just like always like fascinated by it. I was like, wow, you can really look like a character, and I feel like SuperCon is what really ignited that for me. So then I made a cosplay account. I started cosplaying in like late 2017 or so, and I started posting cosplays on that account. Didn't get too much traction, but it was just something that I enjoyed.
Is that your figure account now?
Yeah.
Okay. I should let you say it, but
It evolved to my
It
figure account.
evolved
So
to your
like the
figure account.
KooK0w0 account started as a cosplay account, and I kind of just like I wasn't really consistent with it because I didn't really have too much time to cosplay as much as I, would want to. So I would post every so often.
oh, I've known you guys then for a long time because following Coco's page, it took 3 scrolls to get down to those photos.
Oh, those are archived now.
Those are archived
yeah.
now. But before, I remember it just, like 3 scrolls is like 1, 2, 3, and it's like, it is a couple posts, like maybe 100 is what I just went through. But now, I think if I go, there's like, you have like every single figure you've ever, and it's so cool to see like.
Yeah, you
that-
would follow my account when it was still a cosplay.
That's what
account.
I mean. Yeah, that's how I was like,
I
wait a
only
minute.
had like 250
Yeah.
followers. I would post cosplay every so often. I would only share figures on my story. I remember I would like tag you guys on my stories
Yeah.
for those.
That's true.
That was when I really started, and then like that was when I discovered other figure accounts, and I took a lot of time just scrolling through their pages, and I just really loved it. I was like, oh my god, like these people take really sick photos of these like anime figures.
Oh, like it's so crazy.
And then I was like
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
there, and then like Matthew actually was like, oh, you have figures, you can start photographing them. And I'm like, maybe I will. And I still don't even have a professional camera. A lot of people think that my photos are done professionally.
iPhone.
It's not even iPhone. It's actually my Samsung.
Here, pull it up. Pull out your
Here is my professional camera that I use for my photos.
pop socket and everything.
Well, we were talking last time I saw you. We were talking. You were here with your sister,
Yes.
and I asked you if you wanted to do figure reviews with us. Are you still down?
Yes, I'm always gonna be down to do anything that's figure
I had to
related.
give you a high five for that one.
Look, you guys have been there with me since my cosplay days.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's no stop to this like professional relationship between us. Like, I'm gonna be here
No,
all the time.
that's and just to, we're just supposed to say this on the podcast. That's why you're the first guest. Like
Yeah.
for like our first
Oh.
podcast, we were like the first person we had to bring on is Coco. I
Yeah.
mean, like yeah, 100%.
She's the most loyal customer that we ever had.
Loyal customer has been with us too, like since we
For a
started
long
to
time.
like grow big and everything.
Your
so,
guys'
yeah.
store is the main reason why I even have my collection now, because I used to buy avidly with you guys.
That is true.
Because I was just like, I was so scared of custom fees from Japan
Right.
that I was like, you know what? I'll just pay the Super Anime Store price and they can deal with the customs.
Right, no, and then now our price has gone down. Like it's retail.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you look at, and nothing against like any other websites, but most websites, like if their figures sometimes say like $26, their shipping would then add up to like 40 or 35,
Yeah, it's
which
insane.
we sell it at 35, 40.
Yeah,
so
yes.
it's already that, and then the shipping with us is like super cheap. So if anything, like if you pre-order something, most of the time we've already got like the Japanese version. Instead of, because like you're pre-ordering the English to be shipped here to America, so we're already selling the Japanese version, so you could just buy it before the pre-order.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah.
realized, since you were following since my cosplay, that means that you saw like my my baby figure photos, like before they got like to where they are now.
Yeah.
'Cause, okay, you know
yeah.
what that was? It wasn't a setup. It was literally Matthew's desk. I put a white sheet of paper on top of his laptop and then just put a figure there.
Honestly, I like those more. Like no, I'm like not that I don't like your photos now, but I was just like, I don't know. I guess I just liked that because it was like you would buy the figure and then do it automatically, so it was like this cool, quick process.
It's
So-
a lot different now.
Yeah,
I
it's a
can't-
lot different
I don't do
now,
it as quick
yeah.
anymore because I didn't even have like lighting. I had like a little it was one of those like clip lights that you can clip onto like the side of your bed for reading. I literally used a reading light and then just like my phone on a white sheet of paper
Wow.
with a white background, and that was when I started my photography. And then after that, I started like following figure accounts. They started following me, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't keep bothering Matthew and using his desk for my figures. So then I started using my setup, but then that got kind of bothersome because every time I would want to use my laptop, and I was too lazy to move the setup from like the figure setup
I
from my
remember-
desk,
well,
I would
not-
just leave it there.
Now you each have a computer, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
we
remember
still
the
have
laptop.
laptops,
Yeah.
but I got monitors. They're still laptop powered. I don't have like
oh,
a PC.
right.
yet.
So you had like the vertical.
Exactly. So we had the
Right.
vertical, we had the horizontal.
So I know what you guys do, but so what do you both? You could take turns. So what do you do professionally and like jobs, and then what do you do professionally and like jobs?
So right now, I work for a modeling studio. He works at the same place as me. I do mentorship calls. So what I do is they bring the model in, they do the photo shoot, and then they make their portfolios, their website, and they create all like the materials for these models to start their career. And then what I do is I got trained on what the industry's like. I gained a lot of knowledge on how the modeling world really is. And then I do conference calls with these models to get them work and to start off their career.
So pretty much like a model talent agency kind
Yeah,
of thing.
we're not an agency, but we're like a modeling support system.
Well, and you guys have done,
Yeah,
and so you do the same work.
Well, I'm in the design section, so
Production
basically
team.
production, yeah. So anything that has to do with like the actual photos themselves that isn't like taking and retouching them.
Yeah.
Because we have the photographers, the production, and then inquiry studio. So I'm part of the production. So after they're taken and retouched, they're given to us to make all the materials, like all the cards.
He's part of the
all
backbone of the company because the
Yeah.
production studio creates their websites and their materials for the models
Do you-
before they can hand it
Do
to
you guys
me.
do any programming or anything?
I do a little bit.
Okay, so that's why I saw your setup. You have the vertical monitor.
KooK0w0.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit.
okay.
Okay, you undersell yourself with coding.
No, it's not that. It's just that I don't do it like as much, and it's not like something that I really like am prioritizing as like a main focus in my life.
So,
It's
like,
just something
so
that I
pretty
kind
much
of
like
do.
putting it out there.
Right. Yeah.
Which test did you take?
Matthew.
Did you
Put it
do
on
CC plus or C?
So
not CC++?
I know like I've learned like Python, CC, CC++, Java. Java is terrible. I
Remember when I had to use Java for freaking
and
literacy?
I'm also trying to get into school for engineering, which is why I'm like trying to like.
Okay, so we had a little technical difficulty, which I think took like 10 minutes or 5 minutes away from this, but it's perfectly fine. The camera died, or ran out of space, and where we were was your programming.
Yes. So, was it talking about like when I taught myself programming or?
Yeah, coding. You were talking.
You, I asked if you had got anything in CC++, and then so.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did teach myself some coding. So I was, yeah. So I dropped out of high school. I didn't want to do nothing for my career.
Mhm.
So I was like, maybe I should learn some coding because my dad was an engineer, and I always just found it really fascinating how like one application on your phone can have so much coding behind it. And I'm like, there's someone who sits there for hours creating these programs and software just to improve someone's quality of life. So I just always found it really fascinating. Like I was always really good at math. I always really liked numbers. People are gonna think I'm crazy. People hate math. But I was just really good at math. I don't like doing it, but I was really good at it. So I was like, I might as well do something with that skill that I have and take it and make it into a career. But now I'm just kind of like, maybe I'm going to put that in the background because I feel like I've taught myself enough where like I might even know more than some people who have gone to school for it because I've self-taught myself coding for like years now that I'm just kind of okay with like where I'm at with it. I'm going to put it in the background and I'm going to like really think like, okay, what do I want to do with my career? And I really am interested in business. So I'm thinking of going into business and having that coding background and doing something with the both of those to like.
Right, which we talked about when the camera died, but I also talked about like a change in what I'm going to school for, from graphic design to business. And I found that just from working here, how you found that from working where you work, and what also is crazy is that now I even see that transition might not even matter if this takes off. Like if this takes off for me in a career pathway, then it's gonna be where it's like, am I a college dropout or I found what I'm good at? It's like there's no degree for being good at
Something.
at
Exactly.
YouTube. It's like
School, like the whole idea that 100% you have to go to school or you will always fail is a myth. You should still go to school.
right. You should still
But-
go to school.
That doesn't. That's not like the be all end all
Exactly.
of everything.
Pretty much like a background.
Exactly.
reference.
Yeah, because like, let's say this doesn't work out well. Now I have like a business degree,
Yeah,
you know,
you got
which is
something
good.
to-
Yeah,
back yourself
like
up
for my
on.
mindset for school, it's a little bit different because like you can only learn so much from a professor, but then you can learn more by teaching yourself. So like I'm not in college right now. I dropped out of high school, and I have a really solid job. I make a good amount of income, and I feel like I'm pretty happy with where I am in my life. So for me, school's not like a necessity. It's something that I feel like I should eventually go back into. But as of right now, it's not really my main focus. My main focus is focusing on myself, figuring out what I want to do with my career first, and then I'm going to go to school to help boost what I want to do with my career.
Right,
But I feel like I don't want to
yeah.
go in without knowing first, because then I'm just going to go into school not knowing what I want to major in or even minor in.
'Cause you could build a whole career off your figures and all that. Like a lot of people do that. Like that's what I noticed. Like so when I followed your Instagram page, you post your other partners, people who also share your photos, people in a community of collecting figures.
Yes.
I think like Rice Figure Pink. I think is that the name of the Instagram handle?
It's either rice figure pink or figure rice pink.
Figure Rice Pink or
Something like
that. And
So many names.
they have like such good like photos and they post that's the account that posts like straight. They don't care about Instagram's guideline rules.
Yeah, so they just,
Yeah.
for their NSFW photos, they just fully post a cast off. I also like to post my figures cast off, but I usually make the first slide SFW, and then I'll put a warning in the caption.
It's like
Because then if
last
people try to
slide.
report it, I'll be like,
Yeah.
no,
Warning.
no.
No, don't do that.
No, but with that account, like I just feel like they have such good like repetition with it too as well. I mean, like you do too, and like I've noticed like from all the other accounts as well, like people are like doing it, but like it's like I guess what people don't realize is like what you do in the background to support this. You know, like so you have to work to build.
That.
Yeah,
That's
so-
something that's like,
yeah.
there's so many times where I'll get comments like, wow, you must be rich. Like, oh, is this daddy's money? And I'm like, look, I understand that from an outsider's point of view, when you see a collection
Yeah.
like mine or many others, it's like, that's an expensive collection. You must have money. No, I might have the money to buy them, but that doesn't mean that it was handed to me.
Right.
I have to work to get that money in order to buy my figures. So it's not like I'm just sitting around and a figure lands in my lap. I go to work full time and 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, every day, just to even afford the cost of living and my hobby.
I think there's only like 2 or 3 figures in your entire collection that wasn't bought by you.
That
is
was
yours.
gifted from you.
Yeah.
That you still
Or,
work
like,
for your money.
Was there any other?
No.
Yeah, but there's only like 2, maybe 3. The rest of like the how many?
Yeah, how many
Let's not get into that.
how many figures do you have? What's your estimated total?
The last time I counted was in October of last year, and I was at like 200.
Oh wow, that was last year
And
October.
and ever since then, I have not updated my figure collection or counted because I am too lazy.
I know how she feels.
So I'm just kind of like at this point, I kind of just guess.
You have at least 10 like free.
I will say this: I have at least one.
At least one.
At
At
least
least
one.
one.
At least one.
What is your go-to anime though? Like when you're watching anime, like your genre, like what's the go-to?
I used to really love shonen. That was like my thing.
I
But
like shonen.
Shonen.
my favorite genre is slice of life. I
Oh, okay.
love slice of life.
Okay.
Every so often, I enjoy a good isekai, but I feel like there are some isekais that are very repetitive of each other. So it
Yes.
depends on the isekai.
Yes.
Konosuba, #1 for me. I love
Oh, that is
Konosuba
true.
so much.
Yes.
Actually, one of my favorite things from Konosuba is what they found. It was Aqua or Megumin, was it? Or
What was happeing?
they
I've
were
watched this show 7 times.
They were in a room, right? It was Kazuma and some other guy. The king comes out of nowhere. I think it was darkness on the floor.
Oh, her father.
Her father came
Oh.
in. Her father came in and says, he pretty much just says, execute them.
Yeah, because Kazuma got into a dispute with Darkness, beat her up, and her clothes basically got destroyed within the battle, so she was basically like naked on the floor when the
He
father came
has
in.
never watched a single episode of Konosuba.
Oh.
I know. He's not as big into anime as I am, he's more into shonen than anything. I've like watched multiple genres, but I'm starting to get into slice of life. Like he really likes Komi Can't Communicate.
I'm a bit more into Western stuff.
And Western stuff. He's really into like comics, like DC,
So like
Marvel.
it just depends.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He got his own variety.
Yeah.
I think a good isekai that's a slice of life is Drugstore in Another World.
I've never seen that.
That one's really cute. If you want to watch an isekai as a slice of life and knock two birds with one stone, is a good one.
Oh, you know what we should
KooK0w0's a
watch?
monster,
Reincarnated as a Slime.
Reincarnated as a Slime has a whole
Isekai.
isekai slice of life season. So it's called Slime Diaries.
Nice.
So they took out all of the slice of life from the manga and put it separate from the show. And this
Okay,
isekai, in my opinion, and I feel like the comments are gonna disagree with me. I feel like Slime, Reincarnated as a Slime, is a shonen. It's not an isekai.
I do understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Though. Like, there's a feel to it where it's a little. I just feel like with how it was written,
It's so shonen.
the majority
It's
of it
so
can be
shonen,
considered an
yeah.
isekai, but I feel like there's also like hints of shonen and slice of life
Because
in
of
there.
the leveling.
But I feel like that is what makes it good.
Oh,
And yeah, the leveling, the fights, everything is shonen-like, and then you have the isekai powers, the isekai
Yeah.
rules, but in a shonen. It's
I feel
like,
like that's why I like it. That there's like layers to the show.
yeah,
To
yeah.
tell you the truth, if you want a good anime recommendation, Real Life. If you want, it's pretty much where this 27-year-old guy who lost his whole job and everything, he gets one moment, chance in time to turn back into a high school kid and redo everything in his life.
Is it? Oh no, is it Remake Our Lives?
No, it's called Real Life.
Is that the one where he's like he's part of the group that makes like the video games in college?
No.
That's a different
no,
one.
Yeah, you're talking about Remake.
That's Remake. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's is it similar to Remake?
It's similar, yeah, it's similar to Remake, but he's a 27-year-old who comes back into high school and falls in love and like his whole high school journey.
Grabbing me the Gojo, I feel so empty without.
Oh yeah, give me the play. So during our little camera die, we all got up, stretched, and the plushies moved
Yeah.
around. I
I
think
don't
feel
know.
so
Kag
lonely.
is.
No, like when I'm not holding something, I don't know what to do with my hands. And when I talk, I express.
That's
my
that's why we put them on the couch.
But-
We were like, I want to prepare this podcast, and now it's getting a little
I
scuffed, but it's
fidget
fine.
a lot.
It's
So like, I need to
okay.
hold
It's
something.
more organic.
Right. Yeah.
It's a more
genuine feel.
genuine, yeah.
Yeah.
Most that's but good podcasts are like that, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
so
just
like,
chill.
yeah, it's just being like there in the moment, and like that's I think when the best podcasts are.
That's
Is
my
like
favorite kind of
when people-
podcast is like when they're just having
Well-
like raw, genuine conversations as friends and people, and it's not like scripted.
Well,
It's,
'cause
Yeah,
thing is,
I don't like
like,
scripted.
you may as well
You
just
can tell when
edit
it's scripted.
You may as well just edit it if
it
it's
just
Yeah.
doesn't feel
you know,
natural.
Yeah.
Like not have it as a podcast. You may as well just have it as just like a.
You don't hear about
Video.
those.
Yeah.
You know. Do you guys ever watch? He's a cook, Anthony Bourdain.
No.
You should watch this documentary.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, let him rest in peace. He died in 2016.
Yeah.
His documentary came out recently, I think this year. It's on YouTube. You can rent or buy it, or I
What
think
is
it's
it
on
about?
Netflix. It's about him. So
What
it's
does he
he was a cook and he was a writer.
Oh.
So he got famous for his
He's
first
traveled all around
book.
the world.
Yeah, he traveled all around the world with NBC or CBS
It was I think Food Network.
or Food Network. Well, he traveled and basically went everywhere in the world, tried food. He traveled. Honestly, this is spoilers. You should watch it. But
Spoiler alert.
yeah, spoiler alert. He did, I think in 2012 or 2014. I don't remember. Whatever. He did one episode of Joe Rogan's podcast, and we were talking. You like Joe Rogan? Or
I'm not really into Joe. I
You're
don't.
not into
I
Joe
don't.
Rogan.
I don't know.
I don't listen to Joe Rogan.
that was out with Alan earlier. But
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, he has a podcast with Joe Rogan, and that 2-hour podcast, I think I understood Anthony more than from his documentary. And that was because hearing him speak, hearing him just be live, like I feel like that is what, you know, that's what I want us to do here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you guys ever want to come back on again, or if you want to come back on and do something with a new guest that we have, like, you know, bring in some of the figure collectors you know. Like honestly, like the
I don't
more
really
people
know
we have.
any like local ones. Cause all like the friends I have on Instagram for figure collectors, they're all like from out of state.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we should do like a meetup. That would be great. Like we
Yeah.
could do that at the
would be
store
nice.
here.
Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I have a one of my best friends. Her name's Reagan. She recently started her collecting account like back in January. and she lives in Texas, but she might be coming to Orlando for Holiday Matsuri in December. So I'm hoping, because I've never met her in person, but she is like one of my bestest friends, and I just met her like literally in January. But she's so sweet.
Well, we could plan this outside the podcast. But we can probably plan it figured.
I went to Orlando. Kissimmee, there was a small anime store.
What is it called?
I forgot what it's called, but it's in Old Town. If you like go there, there's like a small anime store, and they sell like posters.
Is it like a startup how we were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except it's way smaller. It's like right next to an A&W restaurant.
Oh, okay. He recently just went to
Universal
for his first time in his life.
for the first
That was
time.
your first time.
Yeah.
I've been to Disney, but never been to Universal.
How'd you like it?
It was awesome.
But did you go to both parks or just one?
Both.
You got the
Which ones do you
I
like?
have an annual pass.
you got an
Just
annual
like-
pass now.
Which one do you like more though? Like
Harry
this dude?
Potter World.
Harry Potter.
That one's cool.
No, but which one? There's one at Islands of Adventure, and then there's one at the actual like Universal Studio.
I rode the train. I rode Hagrid's ride.
Oh, that's
Hagrid's
the
ride
new
is so
ride.
much
I
fun.
haven't
haven't
done it.
experienced
But
I
I
haven't
want to
done
do
it
the.
yet.
I didn't do the. I want to try Butterbeer.
Oh,
It
you
is
didn't
so
try
bad
Butterbeer?
for you.
No, I did.
But
Oh.
it's so
No, and you know how you there's a store in the mall. It's called It's Sugar, right?
Oh, they have the bottles.
They have
good.
the
He used to
bottles.
work
used
at
to
it.
work
I used to work at a sugar.
I used to work in the Sawgrass Black Friday. Never doing that again in my life.
I mean, here it's Black Friday. Honestly, I'm gonna jinx it. Watch me jinx it. Because we work at the store, and Black Friday's not that bad.
It's not.
It's
You
not.
just jinxed it.
I just jinxed it. I
You
probably
just
just
jinxed
jinxed it.
This year,
Also-
It's gonna be the worst.
Also, that's-
Yeah.
because
I
now your
feel
store
like-
is more popular, so it's just gonna
Yeah, I
get
was
like.
gonna say within like the past year, you have gained a lot of popularity with your
Mm.
stores, and I feel like a lot of more people are discovering it. So
With
Also,
the,
this now, you know,
No,
getting into like the
And-
YouTube and
and-
social
and-
media, so there's gonna be more people.
you know, Black Friday, I will be here.
oh yeah. You're
No,
gonna be
it's
at the
just-
waiting.
It's
no,
just
I
gonna.
know, and I told this to Alan earlier, dude. I'm gonna buy more figures on Black Friday than you gave me count, even though I'm gonna be working here.
So I think what the other thing about that is that we were now like expanding, and with that comes hate, like a lot of hate, a lot of people, you know, like the Karens and Todds
Oh
or
my
Ryans.
God.
I don't know.
Craig.
Yeah,
Now-
Craig's. Yeah.
And now we're
yeah.
looking for store number 5, so it's kind of like weird right now.
Yeah, because I think and there was an issue at one of those stores, and on their opening day, and it's just like this person went on TikTok and made like a whole couple videos about it and rants and like about the review and how Alan responded, but like it's just like, you know, out of like, and the reason I'm not saying, you know, I'm keeping it like
And you have a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
trolls that come after that.
a lot of trolls, like a lot of people like that, and like, whatever. Yeah. That, it's like, you know, this person didn't understand that, like, out of like 200 people, how did like you're the only one. You're the only one that had a problem with like the incident there, and like, you know, so it's just like how, and we've had people like that starts to come out, because you know you have like all these new kids and people who like kind of were away from the anime culture and away from the con culture, that because now it's becoming normalized, especially with everyone.
More stable.
Yeah, and
All that.
you're getting all these people who don't understand any of it, don't understand how to be around anyone. So now we're starting to deal with that, and then also I relate that back to the beginning of our podcast when you talked about, you know, being in school and having to become like more Americanized. I remember this. I remember like there's like that group of people that I talk to, like, dude, did you watch that episode? You know,
my
it's
God.
like, you know, you have to like whisper it. You know, you can't just be like, bro, the new episode of Bleach. You know, like when Bleach was
Yeah.
coming out. You know, and like, yeah.
Did you ever see that scene in that?
That was me with Hitalia and Death Note.
Oh, but Death Note, weirdly. Oh, if you're emo, yeah, you watched Death Note.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
Well,
the
why?
same thing.
Why?
No, like-
Why?
No, I remember when
I still am kind of emo.
No, I remember
Agreed.
when I first started here.
Nails
We
are
had
black.
the Death Notebook. KooK0w0, you remember this? You were here during that time.
We sold the notebooks.
Yeah, the
we
notebooks.
sold the
You did.
notebooks. Yeah.
When your store was small, you guys also used to sell like K-pop merchandise. I remember I bought like a plushie of Van from the BT21, like Hello Christmas had one.
That's definitely a market,
Oh,
yeah.
I bought that from you.
No, and like,
I remember.
I was thinking that day, dude, dude, if we sell more of these in stock, we have to get more with the tell Alan about this.
And now it's hard for us to get like in everything.
Yeah, it's hard to because you have the whole Death Note series, and then you have the freaking 2 live action.
Oh, and like at that time, like all the Rem memes, ReZero memes, and then Rem was just being bought like crazy.
Another anime that I feel like broke that kind of thing, where it's like, hey, did you watch this last episode of XYZ? Was Dragon Ball as well.
Oh, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball was basically just another cartoon.
Yeah, Dragon Ball
like,
coming back.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and then when it came back as Super, oh my.
It was like,
bro,
everyone was talking about it.
Everyone was talking about it, exactly.
If you didn't like it, you were weird. That's the thing.
Right, that was, and that's why I'm like, don't hate on Dragon Ball. I'm like, Dragon Ball. I was like, no, I'm like to other people, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people like hating on it.
You also have your longest running animes. Dragon Ball's like number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
One Piece.
Well,
no, I don't. Really
oldest or longest running?
No,
because it's older than One Piece.
No, I'm saying it's the second longest running.
What's the first one?
Because you have Doraemon. Doraemon's like first intact of that.
Oh yeah.
I still watch Doraemon to this day.
Did you ever watch Hamtaro?
Yes.
Not many people. I know. I have one of Bijou, the little white one with the blue ribbons. Not many people even know what Hamtaro is. So every time I bring it up, they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's an anime about hamsters." It was my childhood. You need to watch it.
And then you have other aspects in anime as well. You have Shaolin Showdown. Watch that clearly. Ever since the first time it showed and the remake.
Is there anything you guys excited about coming out?
Oh my god. Well, I was mentioning this earlier. Chainsaw Man Part 2 just came out. Part 2 just came out. I read it.
I haven't read it yet. Don't spoil it.
No.
But the anime, I'm so
especially
excited.
from Mappa. I mean, well, yeah, Mappa.
Like,
no,
you definitely gotta read it.
The clocks we had sold out. The tumblers we had sold out.
Anything we have Chainsaw Man
related
sells out.
I actually on the way here was starting to draw the War Devil, which is like one of the new characters.
This is my
it's great.
My waifu from Chainsaw Man Power. I have a cosplayer of her too.
No, and then I have everybody calling at the store telling me, "Do you guys have any Chainsaw Man merch?"
all day.
When the
Chainsaw
anime
Man
comes out,
is
it's gonna be
so
huge.
good. Did you read
it's
it?
gonna be massive.
No, I haven't touched Chainsaw Man yet.
You need to read it.
Because I am in Jujutsu Kaisen land.
Oh, okay.
Like my.
He's in both.
No, and right now, the new one.
wish.
You heard of the manga Solo Leveling?
Yes.
Their anime is coming out.
Wait, they have an anime coming out?
Yeah.
I did not know
It's
that.
already announced and everything. Solo
I'm
Leveling.
gonna scream.
You have a lot of new anime coming out. You have a lot of new movies.
Right. Yeah.
There's some animes that should have gotten a second season.
They're getting it.
No, because you either had the creator had died or like
The studio burned. Like
the studio
No
burned.
Life.
Yeah.
No Game No Life. The studio. Right? That's the right studio. The whole studio burned down.
Damn. Wait. Like, you mean literally or figuratively?
Literally.
Was it caused by an outside source? Because I didn't know that.
No. Well, I know it burned down, but I don't know the reason. My friend who originally told me said that it was one of the artists.
Why?
Yeah, who knows, bro? Japan's the most peaceful country, and like this guy just created a potato gun that's deadly and killed the prime minister.
Former prime minister.
Oh yeah.
Former Prime Minister.
Wasn't that a thing where didn't Kojima get framed for that?
And then someone photoshopped like Kojima.
Yeah.
Like in like one of the like outside photo security camera type things, and like he's suing. Yeah.
Like that's just so wild to think about.
That's defamation.
It is defamation. But just like, because like when I first heard about that, I didn't know like it was like people were discussing about like it's a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
But I just heard Kojima killed the prime minister, and I was like,
No, you know what that's like? There's this post going around on Instagram. I posted on my story, I got reported as false information, where it was like that Tom Holland died because he tripped and fell.
Like,
I remember that.
They call him like Tom Hollard though.
No, and I was watching the news. It was a makeshift shotgun that the guy freaking made out of his like home and stuff, and then they found the weapons inside his like when they raided his place. I was like wondering what the hell.
Crazy.
Japan's one of the safest countries in the world, more safe than Singapore.
Really?
It was like because Singapore's like a strict country. Yeah. Because capital punishment over there's like.
Oh yeah.
And like if you like, say you spray paint a wall, you get hit with a cane. So it's like,
Oh.
You only go up in severity from there.
Yeah.
So
so you
I
gotta watch
didn't know
out.
that.
Every country has their own strict kind of laws. I respect Japan because they got the world's safest. But
Yeah.
after this whole entire thing happened with the prime minister, it's kind of taking out a toll.
Yeah.
man.
The citizens are probably like terrified.
No, they are. I saw the videos and everything last night.
I mean, yeah, because that'd be like just suddenly waking up one day and it's like,
And he's the
yeah,
longest.
got killed by like a
serving prime
makeshift
minister.
like potato gun or something.
It's like, yeah, the president was assassinated by a potato gun. It's like, what?
Hey then.
I was crazy to find that out. I mean, it was the same day someone else passed away too.
The Yu-Gi-Oh creator.
The Yu-Gi-Oh creator. Same day, right?
Yeah.
Same day.
Same day.
There's a lot of like Japanese creators that have been like passing away recently.
Oh,
like, this is
Berserk.
crazy. Berserk too.
Berserk
yeah.
is like
They're
a-
continuing it though,
honestly-
which is interesting.
Honestly, I think Yu-Gi-Oh should have ended right after GX. Personally.
All right, we'll stop it. We're gonna stop it here. It's not
Controversial,
Hold on, we're gonna
but-
stop it here.
Before we go rabid.
All right, so thank you guys for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for having
Yes,
us.
it was.
Like,
This
uh,
is really fun. We could always do a part 2 a year later. See how things
A
have gone.
year later.
Things have gone, and you know.
5 years later.
Time skip.
So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. Sorry about the little mishap and the
Yep.
little middle there. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, put the notification bell on.
If you guys
follow
like
us.
some future anime stuff, please come to our store, Super Anime Store.
Yeah,
You
come
guys
shop
can
with
have
us.
Fun.
Come down to Florida if you don't live in Florida, especially South Florida is where we're all at. West Coast now, and our original store is here on the East Coast.
We have 4 locations, everybody.
Come hang out with us. We have up and coming meet and greets with some voice actors. What was her name? Carrie Lee?
Chinami? I think it's Chinami.
Oh.
I don't remember.
We're butchering this, but it's the voice actor for Lucy,
Asuna.
Sailor Venus, and Asuna, and Sadara from Baruto. So that meet and greet's coming at the end of August. Check our Instagram out for more information like that. Also follow our Instagram and TikTok. We do lives about 2 times a week. We're starting to do that now.
Try.
And yeah, and take care, guys. Thanks for joining the video.
Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.